Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, bringing you our final Group of 5 conference recap with the MAC, a conference that provides us with midweek games involving teams that you probably wouldn't be watching any other day. So before we get started, guys, breaking down the MAC, breaking down our projected standings for 2021, we just want to say again, thank you for joining us here at the Gridiron Expert. As always, make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. We are just 5 days away from putting out our first expert pick, so make sure you sign up for those today. And the same can be said for PrizePicks. Use that link and promo code below to sign up over on PrizePicks so we can help you win some money. We can help you play some fantasy football. Do not miss out on that. Both those things down in the description. So we take a look at the MAC, guys. All that midweek MACtion, it's become a meme and we give it a hard time. But look, I would take it. I'm going to take it. I will happily watch Akron play Ohio on a Wednesday afternoon, on a Wednesday night. Take that any day of the week. College football is college football. So let's go ahead and break down the East Division in the MAC. And, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised to see who we have winning this division. And it's Miami, Ohio. It's the Red Hawks. We have that 7-5, 6-2 in conference play. Now, really, guys, this is not that far of a stretch. Miami, Ohio won the conference back in 2019. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the conference in Brett Gabbert. Their defense returns 9 starters, which is always one of their strengths. They had the number 1 rushing defense in the MAC last year. They had a sack rate of 13.1%, meaning on 13.1% of the passes they faced, they got a sack. It's a dang good Miami, Ohio team, guys. They do travel to Ball State and Kent State, but they host Buffalo, and that could be the difference maker. Having home field advantage over the Bulls could be the difference maker here because we have Buffalo right behind them. Same record overall, 1 game behind them in conference play, 5-3. And, a lot of people, I think, had Lance Leipold stayed at Buffalo, the Bulls, I think, would be a shoo-in for this division. I think a lot of people would be picking Buffalo unanimously almost. I think everybody would just be all over the Bulls, who won the East last year but fell to Ball State in the championship game. But Leipold is gone. He took a handful of starters with him to Kansas. They lose Jarrett Patterson, one of the best running backs, not just in the MAC, but in the country. Yes, Kyle Van Treese is back. That's great. Got a solid quarterback, an accurate quarterback at that. But this team is, to me, destined to take a step back. They went 6-1 last year. I'm not expecting those same numbers again in 2021. 7-5, still a fantastic season for Buffalo, a fantastic season for new head coach Maurice Linguist, but I just don't see the Bulls being able to overcome some of the obstacles such as a road game at Nebraska, home game against Coastal Carolina, road games at Kent State, Miami, Ohio, and Ball State. To me, the schedule is just too tough, and the Bulls come in second in the division, fail to make the championship game in back-to-back years. Ohio, right after them, 6-6 on the year, so they will be going bowling. Tied with Buffalo, 5-3. Buffalo, Ohio, and Kent State all have the same exact conference record. Ohio, though, they're quite the anomaly. You don't really know what to expect from the Bobcats. And it's kind of hard to gauge a team and to give analysis on a team when you only saw them 3 times last year. They went 2-1 in the 3 games they played. But Curtis Roark is back at quarterback. Feels like all the Roark brothers and all the Roark kids get to go through Ohio. But this is a team, guys, that doesn't necessarily want to pass. They want to run. They average 216.7 rushing yards per game. They do return 7 on defense. But the one thing that they struggle with, guys, is the pass rush. They're solid at defending the pass, but they struggle at pressuring the quarterback. And that's something that needs to improve and something we do think improves. Ohio has the benefit of hosting Toledo, Miami, Ohio, and Kent State. Some of their biggest games coming at home. The Bobcats will upset at least one of them, and that could be the difference maker in whether they go bowling or not. We believe they actually do make the postseason. Same can be said for Kent State. Obviously, we believe Ohio beat Kent State based on the tiebreaker there, 6-6, 5-3, both the exact same records. But the Golden Flashes, guys, the one guy you need to know about this team is Dustin Crum. Dustin Crum, their quarterback, engineered an offense that averaged 49.8 points per game, best in the country, and averaged 606.5 total yards per game, also the best mark in the country. This Golden State, or this Golden Flashes, not Golden State, Golden Flashes team offensively is one of the best in the nation, not just in the MAC, but I think in the country. 8 starters back on offense. Got your star dual threat quarterback in Crum. 6 starters are back on defense. They've got to improve the defense, especially in stopping the run. Kent State gave up 262 rushing yards per game last year, and that's their downfall. They improved that significantly. You're not looking at 6-6. You might be looking at 7-8 wins and maybe a potential East crown. But Kent State does get to host Buffalo. They do get to host Miami, Ohio, but they do travel to Ohio and Western Michigan. So a couple of trap games within conference play there. But Kent State guys, I believe they're the real deal. They're the real deal. And they're going to be very tough for any team to face just because of that offense. Rounding out the East, Akron and Bowling Green. Don't have to touch much on them. The Zips, we have at 2-10, actually getting a conference win over, you guessed it, Bowling Green. The Zips went 1-5 last year. That only win was against Bowling Green by 28 points. That was just their first win in 2 seasons under Tom Arth. Guys, Akron's just a dumpster fire right now, to say the least. They're pretty much devoid of talent. The defense is non-existent. The offense is non-existent. I think 2 wins almost might be generous for the Zips. Bowling Green, we can't say the same. 1-11, winless in conference play. How can you pick the Falcons to win a game here? 0-5 last year, averaged just 11.4 points per game, but they allowed 45 points per game and 310.2 rushing yards per game. So the defense is horrendous. The offense is horrendous. They actually have home field advantage against Akron, but I think from a talent standpoint, the Zips own a slight edge, and I just don't see a 28-point swing coming from one year to another despite home field advantage, and we all know there really won't be one for Bowling Green. So the Falcons round out the East. Miami, Ohio is going to the championship game. They will face Ball State, who won the MAC last year, guys. Surprised everybody by winning the MAC. You know, Mike New was on the hot seat going into 2021, and he goes, okay, say no more. I'm going to go out and not just win the West, but I'm going to win the entire conference. You know, a lot of people have Toledo winning this division, guys. And the Rockets right there are 9-3, 6-2. So, you know, obviously you can see that we have Ball State beating Toledo in this regular season. Mostly because Ball State owns that home field advantage. Ball State hosts Toledo, they host Buffalo, they host Miami, Ohio. Some of their biggest games and competitions are coming to Ball State. And the Cardinals, guys, went 7-1 last year. That included 7 straight wins, including the championship game, including a dominating bowl win over a good San Jose State team. 17 starters are back. That includes their star quarterback, Drew Plitt. That includes their star wide receiver, Justin Hall. And they have 9 starters back on defense that had 10 interceptions last year. And this is an elite Ball State team, guys. I believe they are good enough to go 9-3. They win the championship. Maybe they're 10 wins. They win that. They have 11 wins. And that's something that I guarantee you Ball State did not see happening just a few years ago. Toledo is without a doubt Ball State's biggest challenge. And, you know, if Ball State were to slip up somewhere else, or if Toledo were just to go on the road and beat Ball State, they win the division and they may win the conference. A lot of people think the Rockets are the best team in the conference. 21 starters are back. But they do have to replace their quarterback in Eli Peters, most likely going to replace him with Carter Bradley. They averaged 325.8 passing yards per game last year, and their defense, not too shabby, ranked 36th in the nation. But here's the thing. The reason we are going with Ball State in the West, so many different reasons. The Cardinals aren't taking a step back. I think they're taking a step forward. You could say the same for Toledo. But the Rockets lost to Ball State at home last year. Ball State can go on the road last year and beat Toledo. There's no doubt in my mind they can beat the Rockets at their house this year. So I do believe Ball State repeats as West champions, barely though, over Toledo. Western Michigan comes in at third, 6-6, 4-4, owning the tiebreaker over Central Michigan. I love this Western Michigan offense. They are so much fun to watch. They are so electric. 41.7 points per game last year, 286.5 passing yards per game, led by Caleb Ellaby. And he is just going to be an electric, dual-threat, fun quarterback to watch in 2021. Up there, for me, is one of the better quarterbacks in the conference. They went just 3-3 last year, but 2 of their losses were by 1 possession. They returned 8 starters back on defense from one that was just mediocre last year. If Western Michigan wants to make sure they go bowling, if they want to maybe extend a little bit on that, maybe win 7 games, they've got to create more turnovers. They only forced 3 last year in 6 games. They have to get better at forcing turnovers and taking the ball away. But I think Western Michigan improves on that. The offense is up there to me with Kent State as one of the best ones in the conference. And when you realize that Western Michigan gets to host Kent State and Ball State, it looks very favorable that they can snag a win over one of those teams, which could be key in getting to that 6-win mark. Central Michigan, led by Jim McElwain, We have them at a tie, 6-6, 4-4. So the Chippewas getting to go to the postseason as well. 20 starters are back for Central Michigan and McElwain, a team that, like Western Michigan, went 3-3 last year. They need a quarterback, and I think McElwain found his man in Jacob Sermon, who transferred in from Washington. So bringing in a guy that has Power 5 experience from a solid Washington team, he comes into Central Michigan, has an elite wide receiver in Khalil Pimpleton, one of the best wide receivers in the conference. They have 10 starters back on defense. 10 starters back on defense with one that's very solid against the run, we should add. So if the Chippewas kind of improve against the pass, something I think they'll do with the fact their whole secondary returns intact, they're going to go bowling. Last year was kind of a disappointment for Central Michigan, but I think they're going to bounce back in a big way. Tack on that they're hosting Toledo, they're hosting Kent State. Again, maybe snag a win over one of them, key in getting to a bowl game. Eastern Michigan is another team we believe goes bowling. So yes, 3 straight 6-6 teams, but the Eagles coming in at 3-5, not 4-4. This is a good Eagles team, guys. This is not a bad team by any means. They went 2-4 last year, but 3 of the 4 losses were by 1 possession. They have a minor quarterback battle going on between Preston Hutchinson and Ben Bryant. Hutchinson was the starter last year, but Bryant certainly going to challenge for that this year, transferring in from Cincinnati. 276.2 passing yards per game is what they average, though. So whoever gets a starter is going to have the tall task of trying to repeat those numbers and leading a pass-happy offense. The defense has to improve, though. 36 points per game allowed. Not good. You've got to improve on that number. If they can get it down to about 31, I think it's good enough to get to that 6-win mark. No doubt in my mind. And the Eagles are going to get there, and they're going to finally hope to get a bowl win. They've been there a few times in recent years, but have been unable to clinch a bowl victory. Rounding out the West and rounding out the MAC, Northern Illinois, a team that went 0-6 last year. A team that usually is a contender in the MAC, has not been in recent years. 0-6 last year, guys. And it's hard to believe and hard to even think that they could even improve much on that. Not saying they're going to go winless. That's certainly not going to happen. But to think they're going to get to a bowl game and think they're going to be a contender this year, they're still a ways away from that. They needed quarterback help. They went out and got it. They got Rocky Lombardi to come in from Michigan State. Could have had a better option, I'm sure, but Lombardi's solid quarterback play with the Spartans. Nothing great, but good enough, and I think it will certainly be good enough here with the Huskies. Factor in that they have 10 starters back on defense. That, to me, is going to be enough to give Northern Illinois a few conference wins. We have winning 3. This is still a very, very young team, which is good. You've got some youth on this team, which means maybe as soon as next year, Northern Illinois could be contending for bowl games. That's just not going to be the case, though, in 2021. So we have them coming in at 4-8. 3-5 in conference. So going through all of these teams, guys, like we mentioned, the MAC championship is set. Miami, Ohio versus Ball State. You've got 2 great quarterbacks in Brett Gabbert and Drew Plitt. I love this game. I love this matchup. It's a lot of people are going to pick Buffalo and Ball State again, but not us. I just don't see that happening. But you look at it this year, guys, I think this is going to be a very, very close game in this MAC championship. No doubt in my mind. Very close between 2 great offenses. But I think, kind of like last year, Ball State is a team that I think can get better as the year goes on. It felt like they ended the game on a 7-game win streak, and every week seemed to be better than the last. And I think you're going to see Mike New's team do that again. I believe Miami, Ohio might own the slight defensive edge in this game, but I do believe that Ball State owns the offensive edge as of right now. Tack on that with 1 or 2 key defensive stops in this game, and I think Ball State captures their 2nd straight conference title. I do believe the Cardinals will win the MAC yet again. I believe their defense steps up just enough, just like they did last year against Buffalo, shutting down Jarrett Patterson, shutting down that Bulls offense, winning that game by 10. I believe that's double-digit underdogs, we should add. I believe they will win their 2nd straight conference title over the Red Hawks, clinch a 10-win season, and Mike New's squad could win 11 games if they can win their bowl game for the 2nd year in a row. Again, guys, this midweek MACtion. You might not watch these teams on a regular basis, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of talent within this conference, and you're going to see them not just over the course of the year, but in the postseason as well. Ball State is just one of those many teams that's going to make a name for themselves. So, guys, there you go, our final Group of 5 conference recap. We are done with predictions. Hard to believe. What a summer. We still have a couple videos left for you before we dive into the regular season content, so make sure to stay tuned for those. But this wraps up the MAC. This wraps up team-by-team predictions. And the season, guys, right around the corner, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of it. So as always, thank you so much for watching us here at The Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. Sign up for those expert picks. I can't stress that enough. We're about to put our first picks out, so if you haven't signed up, you need to do that today. Same goes for PrizePicks. Make sure to use the promo code and the link down there below to sign up for those today. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.